We've spoken a lot about illegal immigrant truck drivers in the United States and how there have been several fatal accidents that have been caused directly from them. I'm not against people going to another country to try and get a better life, but you have to do so legally. You can't go getting into a country illegally. That's not your right. You are not a citizen of that country. You don't just get to come in no matter what. You should have to apply and go through the proper processes to be able to do so, to get a visa, to get a green card, whatever the documentation that you need to do so. And a trucking executive has come out with an interesting quote here that I think will resonate with a lot of truck drivers, but particularly truck company owners as well in the US. They basically claim that the US has allowed foreign-owned entities who don't follow the regulations in the country to, quote, export and exploit the industry, end quotes. Now, again, this is going to resonate with a lot of people, I think, but let's go into the details here on the channel as always. The federal government in the US is currently cracking down on illegal immigrant truck drivers following a wave of fatal crashes across the US. In late October, the Department of Homeland Security announced that 146 illegal immigrant truck drivers were arrested along northwest Indiana highways as part of Operation Midway Blitz. Now, we've already spoken about someone who was arrested recently, Borko Stankovic, the man from a country that doesn't exist anymore. He's been in the US that long that Serbia and Montenegro, where he hails from, doesn't actually exist in its current form anymore. Basically, he was involved in a multi-car pileup in Indiana. Stankovic was in the US illegally for 14 years. His visa expired in February 2011. And he was actually arrested in Long Island, New York as well by police, but wasn't sent packing. I think that was in 2017, if I remember correctly. Wasn't sent packing back to Serbia. Why? Do not understand that one. And then you've also got the issue of CDLs as well, the commercial truck driver's licenses, which these illegal immigrants are getting illegally. I mean, they shouldn't be allowed to get them because they're in the country illegally, but they effectively get them through some really shady methods. There are some states such as California, I know, surprise, surprise, California again, but some states such as those that basically just hand them out. You know, the regulations for qualifying for one are so low, the bar is set so low. A lot of these guys don't even speak English, so how the hell are they going to read road signs? Because the US's road signs are very different. I think even myself as a foreigner going over there and driving, even having a full understanding of the language, it'd take me a minute to adjust because the road signs in the US are totally different to most of the rest of the world. That's not a criticism, that's just an observation, that's a fact. So if you don't even speak the language, what chance have you got? But what has this trucking executive said? Well, this is Zach Mayborg who said this, or Myborg, one of the two. Now, he owns Myborg Brothers Trucking in the state of Illinois, and he spoke to Fox News Digital about this issue, basically where these companies are foreign owned and they export their truck drivers over there to be able to get licenses and just exploit the system. He explained the following to Fox Digital, quote, "We're watching our bureaucrats export the most vital industry to our economy to foreign-owned entities, typically in the old Eastern Bloc, formerly Russia, Eastern Europe, those kinds of places. That's why we have no problem hiring them. Where foreign-owned companies realized they could exploit like 5 different areas of the trucking economy and explode the growth of their fleets, and they did that just by flat-out breaking the laws, and our bureaucrats that regulate us looked the other way," end quote. Not quite enough government oversight really on that, is there, if that is true? And he said that a lot of these companies effectively used the pandemic as a time to move their operations offshore, putting the local companies in the US at a big disadvantage, explaining, quote, "Their dispatch is over there, their safety is over there, their recruiting is over there, and they do it all digitally, online. So they're not running foreign labour, imported from overseas, not trained. They're paying them 1099, not W2, not complying with any of the ACA or state tax laws or federal tax laws," end quote. And he also alleged that these companies are creating their own electronic logbooks and self-certifying as well, so they're following their own regulations, but not the actual regulations in the US. It's how are they allowed to get away with this if this is true? This is crazy. And I've got an interesting comment here as well on MSN. And I found an interesting comment here from someone who claims to be inside the industry as well. Comfortably Numb is their name on MSN. I know that's not obviously their real name, but they said the following: "This has been going on for 30 years. These companies hire drivers that cannot speak English. That means they cannot read highway signs. They drive on restricted lanes. They use restricted secondary roads. They cannot read maps, bills of lading, load instructions, weight distribution recommendations. What has always amazed me is the insurance companies that provide fleet insurance to these companies do not require the companies to hire drivers with verifiable over-the-road experience with no violations in the last 5 years. That used to be the norm." End quote. So yeah, very worrying to say the very least. But is it going to change? Should it change? Absolutely it should change. But will it change? I'll believe it when I see it, but it makes you think, how many people have to die for this change to happen? That's something that I'd rather not, and that's something that I'd rather not know the answer to be quite frank. But guys, let me know in the comments below what you think on this. Like, share, comment, subscribe if you want to see more on these kind of subjects. We don't skirt around them, guys. We talk about the hard-hitting subjects in the world of cars and the world of trucking because, you know, a lot of people don't want to talk about them, but we're here. We're always here for that. Like, share, comment, subscribe, guys. Have a great day on the world today, and we'll see you very soon.